Today we are sowing some seeds. I've got a toddler behind me who's in a questionable mood. But we are sowing some seeds today, P, aren't we?
Yeah.
Are we sowing our seeds? We are doing a mixture of some tomato seeds and we're doing some tomato seeds and we're going to do some flowers. We've got Black Beauty, this was a really lovely tomato that I did. It was a really big, really dark one. Nice. And it was perfect for salads, things like that. Okay, don't take anything out of them. You can hold them, just don't take anything out, okay? Then we've got Blood Moon, which was another kind of like a medium-sized tomato. Again, really lovely on salads. And it's got this, some of them are kind of more of a deep red going into a green, some are like a green going into a red. Don't know if you can see that on there in the picture. They were really tasty. And then these were probably my favourites, indigo blueberries. So this is more of like a cherry variety. But again, kind of all different colours from the reds to kind of like your normal typical red. Okay, enough now please, honey bun. From your typical kind of red to a dark, like purpley kind of colour. Some a bit of yellow on them, so kind of like a mixture of colours, but they were so tasty. I absolutely loved them. So these are the tomatoes that we're going to do this year. I always do marigolds. I've got French vanilla, which I normally buy them in plants, but I'm going to grow them from seed this year. And then I have also got kind of your standard marigolds. I'm not sowing just yet. We've got some cornflowers, some cosmos, calendula, which I've not grown calendula before, and I really love the colour of these. Okay. And then I've also got some foxgloves, which I always want to do every year and I never get around to doing. And finally, these nasturtiums that I found, the colour of them I just absolutely love. We're going to get started because I have a very impatient toddler here, and he might explode.
Go in her boat, then you see the wet one.
Okay, so this is my current setup. I'm starting off using my trays that I get from like the berries in our shop. I love these because they've got the holes in the bottom for drainage, and they fit in here perfectly. I then use coir for all my seedlings. I'm just going to fill these, top these up a little bit more. We've lost the toddler. He's gotten into a bit of a mood. He's hungry, so I think he's just gotten a bit hangry. So I've given him some food and he's just in the other room. So he might join us again, he might not, who knows. But I want to try and get this done as quickly as I can because I'm then needing to go and pick up the dog from the dog groomers. He's one very little pampered pooch. Got my 2 trays here of my seedlings, and then what I've done is the pots my cherries come in, which are deeper, I put them on top to create a little like propagator. As you can see, they're all kind of like steaming up, so it should help keep them a good temperature and should help with speeding up germination. And then once they all germinated, I'll move them across so they have their own kind of like cells basically. But this is what we've got so far.
My doggy's the teddy, it lives.
Oh, okay. Well, Mommy's just gonna put these away upstairs, and then Mommy needs to get you dressed and we can go get Teddy. So he's been playing behind me on his little step here and taking some of my pots that I've been sowing my sweet peas in, and he's put all his dominoes in and pretending that they're coffee, making coffee for me. So he's not helped out, as you can see, through the seed sowing, but he has had fun playing. Been to the park. We were actually going for a walk, and then my son halfway through the walk decided he wanted to go to the park. We weren't quite prepared for the park, and as it was just after school time, there was all the kids going from school to the park, and they had their footballs and everything, and so my son wanted to play, but he's just a little bit younger than the school kids. So in the end we came home. I very quickly changed, so I was more park appropriate with the right shoes and coat. We got his tennis ball, his racket and his football. We went back to the park and we played there and we had a great time. I wasn't able to really film any of it, which is a shame because it would have been really lovely to film, but I'm sure we've got plenty of time the rest of the year to kind of film times at the park. But he had a wonderful time, and it was really lovely kind of seeing him interacting with the other boys as well. Even though they were a bit older, they were very sweet, and they did let him kind of kick the football around before we came home and got ours. But we had a lovely time. We've since been home. As you've seen, I've been making him some food, which I'll talk you through in a second, which he's currently eating as he is famished, bless him. So what I've been making are these little, I'm calling them pizzas, but they are, he as I have said, he is quite picky with his food as to what he will and won't eat. A lot of the time it's to do with textures. He doesn't like anything that's hot, or he likes a lot of cold food. He's just very particular. So rather than picky, he's very particular, I should say. And he does love pizza, but I felt bad just giving him pizza that was, you know, very plain pizza base. Even though it was homemade, it didn't have much nutritional value to it. Pizza sauce, I used to make up a sauce that was like tomato sauce with other veggies blended in, but he then in the end didn't like that either. So at the current point, I have been able to make some buckwheat like pancakes or crepes, which I use as the base because he likes a really thin base. He doesn't like a crunchy crust. So I made those yesterday, and they're using buckwheat flour and some spelt flour, dairy-free milk or dairy milk, whichever you prefer. And then I've also put in, so the recipe said bicarb soda, which is normally like a raising agent. Instead of using that, I used some of my sourdough starter, which is a spelt and rye starter. So I used that instead, and it worked just fine. And then a little bit of olive oil in the mixture. Cook them up in a pan, and then I put them onto a flat pan like this with some tomato paste, and then I covered them with some mixed herbs because he doesn't like any toppings on his pizza, and when he eats he likes just that one thing at a time. So I'm trying to pack as much kind of nutritional value into it as possible and not make it such a plain meal. And so the buckwheat, the spelt, the sourdough, it's got some fermented food in that base for him, so feeding his gut, and then lots and lots of fibre with the spelt and the buckwheat flour rather than using white flour. So there's a lot more fibre in there for him, so it will fill him up, and just a lot more nutrients. Then obviously the tomato sauce or tomato puree, and then the herbs again is just giving it that extra level. Today he did let me put some nutritional yeast on there. So this has got B12 in it, iron I believe. Where is it? It's got B12, high in iron, high in folic acid, high in fibre and high in protein, which is ideal because as you can probably see, this meal isn't very protein rich. There is some protein obviously from the flours, but yeah, so it's good. I don't know what amino acids it has, I don't think it'll tell me. It won't, but it has got a lot of different nutrients in this. So I'm trying to pack it to be as nutrient dense as possible, with a good variety. And he's loving it, so that is a win-win for me. So I'm going to make him another pizza because he wants another one. He ate that one, which is quite a large one for him, and I've got a bit more batter. And then I actually made these for myself yesterday, but instead of making them into a pizza, I just put some grated some garlic, put it in with olive oil, some crushed up fresh rosemary or crushed up dried rosemary, but it's my rosemary that I grew at the allotment. Put that in and then put it on top of the pancake and made it into like a garlic flatbread, and that was delicious alongside with my food yesterday. So I'm probably going to make some more of those as well. But yeah, I'm going to do his pizza first. this recipe is another one that I like from Deliciously Ella. So it's the buckwheat crepes with pan-fried mushrooms, but I just take the crepes part. So if we go into the ingredients, and we go to the bit where it says the crepes, so it says 100 plain flour, 100 grams of plain flour, but I use spelt flour, and then the buckwheat flour. So baking powder, but I used my rye sourdough with spelt flour as well. Ground flax seeds, I actually used a tablespoon of like my mixed mixture that I get from the supermarket from Tesco's. So it has flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds in it, so there is actually a good amount of protein hopefully in these, and different varieties of protein, so all the different amino acids. And then it also has like Brazil nuts, walnuts in it as well, so it's got a lot of different seeds. So this is a much better base than just your normal kind of white flour pizza base. Almond milk, I used oat milk, that worked out absolutely fine, and then tablespoon olive oil, pinch of sea salt. Also start making another batch of kombucha, so do the first fermentation. So I thought I would show that to you today. So first of all, what I do need to do is start cleaning up, and then I need to boil some water. The first thing that you do need is filtered water. And because we don't have a filter on our tap, we don't have like a filter machine on our fridge, and I do like 5 litres worth, so I need quite a lot. I have this massive container here, which is 5 litres, and inside I use charcoal. So I get the charcoal, I just got these off Amazon, and these are like the sticks. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. See the little black thing at the bottom there? So that's just a charcoal stick that I got off Amazon. I think you can get packets. Of about, I think there's 4 in there. So I put that in and I leave it in here for at least 8 hours, if possible longer. I think this has been in here now for probably about 10 hours now. So we've done a good job of filtering out this water. But that is a very important step. You need to have filtered water when it comes to kombucha. The next thing is I'm going to boil some to make a very strong, very sweet tea. So that's what we're going to do whilst I start tidying up. So the next thing I use is my cafetiere for making the tea, and so I put about 50 grams of tea in here. I've been using a mixture of regular black tea and Earl Grey. It needs to be caffeinated, so for anyone out there who has decaf like us, we don't have caffeine. All of our teas, coffees are decaf. For kombucha it has to be caffeine, and then by the end you do end up with a drink that is basically mostly caffeine free, because everything in the kombucha, all the kind of like bacteria and everything in the kombucha eats up the sugar and the caffeine in the tea. So it does feel very odd as a household who doesn't really have much sugar on a daily basis and we don't have caffeine. It does feel very odd to be making something with caffeine and quite as much sugar as this is, but all the bacteria and everything, they eat up all the sugar and the caffeine. So at the end you end up with this fizzy kind of vinegary, is that the word? Alkaline, like very alkaline. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. You end up with this drink that is very low on sugar, or has no sugar, and very low on caffeine because of that. So yeah, so here we go. So my tea is here. I get loose leaf tea. You can use tea bags as well, whichever you prefer. I've got loose leaf tea, which I'm just going to pop in here. I'm then going to do 2 cups of sugar. It needs to be white sugar. So again, it does feel very odd being a household who doesn't have sugar on a daily basis. It does feel very strange. And then here's 2. Do it straight into here. So I want to let that steep for about 15 minutes or so. So while that is doing, I'm going to crack on with some other jars. Put it in my big container. First of all, I'm going to put some cold water in there before I put the hot water in so it doesn't explode on me. Now I have my helper back from the shops. There's me saying we don't eat sugar on a daily basis, and we're having ice cream tonight because it is our ice cream night once a week. And so he's just been to Tesco's with his dad to get that, so he's very excited. But he loves helping me with the kombucha.
It looks so tasty and juicy.
His favourite part is doing the temperature, which is what I'm going to do in a second. So before I put my SCOBY in and the tea,
Done.
I need to check the temperature to make sure it's not too hot, otherwise it's going to kill my SCOBY. Of course you can. Let me just turn it on. No, don't put it all the way on. We'll just put the bottom bit in. Okay, you take it off then. Come on. I want it to be about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is currently 82.2, so that is a perfect temperature. I think it's between 60 and 90 that you want it. Basically, you don't want it too hot, otherwise it is going to kill your SCOBY.
It's yummy.
Is it yummy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, it's yummy.
It is yummy. Wanna try some?
There we go. Right. Next bit is our SCOBY. Can you say SCOBY?
SCOBY.
SCOBY. So this is our SCOBY in the tea, which I've just been leaving in the cupboard. Don't need to refrigerate it. So I actually have the original SCOBY and then also SCOBY that started for me when I made my first batch. I'm actually going to put both of these in with all of this tea. This is about 500 mils of tea in here. The reason I'm using both is just because the newest one is just quite a small SCOBY, so I don't want to rely on just that little one. So the main guy is this big one here, so I don't want to rely on just a little one. So I'm going to put all of this in, plus the SCOBY, and then fill the rest up with water, and that is it. Ready, P? Ready? Literally all there is to it. So my SCOBY and the original tea that I got, I literally got it off Amazon. I will have to link it below from the company that I got it from. It was absolutely amazing. It was next day delivery. He's obviously not scared of touching SCOBY. Don't keep picking it up though, honeymoon. And it worked absolutely perfect. This is my second time around of doing kombucha. And are we having some tonight, babe?
Yeah.
Ooh. So I'll show you what my current kombucha looks like. So this is my kombucha. You might have seen it in a previous video. The bits in this are just from the fruit that I've put in here to flavour it, but I then strain it out before we drink it. But it tastes really lovely. It has gone fizzy. There's some more in the cupboard which are still fermenting, so they'll probably get fizzier by the time we actually then get around to those, which will be really good. This is just like a summer berry mix that I did, but it does woo pop. Which I always find crazy because that's just like natural. I haven't had to do anything to that, it's just naturally become fizzy. I just love it. So yeah, I think we're going to have some of that with our ice cream this evening. I'll put the lid over like this and leave it kind of like part open like that. Yeah, we're going to have ice cream. We're going to put the lid on this. I then just get a like muslin cloth or cheesecloth.
And
Put it over the top. Get a big band. Yes, of course.
No, I will do.
Well, we have to do it together. Okay, well, you go for it. Nice. Okay, but we need to band down here, honey. That's it. Yep. And then from around the back, we need the band down here. There we go. And that's all there is to it. But yeah, it will still get the air to it, but dust, flies, things like that can't get in there. And then I'm just literally going to leave this on top of the fridge for about a week to 10 days until it all ferments. What do you, no, take that out of your mouth. Why should you just put that in your mouth?
I want ice cream.
Okay, well go see Daddy. So yeah, I'll leave this on top of the fridge now to ferment for about 7 to 10 days. And then I'll go on to my step 2 of fermentation. Where I literally just blend up some fruit, put it in these bottles, and then I leave them in a cupboard for 3 days and we're done. But it is about 10 days later and I'm about to do the second process of my kombucha. So it's just been sitting on top of my fridge fermenting away. In the summer it probably won't take as long because it's a lot warmer and so it'll probably ferment a lot quicker. But I found at the moment 10 days is kind of like the sweet spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my flavourings ready. Last time I did like a berry flavour, this time I want to try a mango and pineapple. I looked for passion fruit because I thought passion fruit would be perfect in it, but I couldn't find any in the shop or in the frozen section. So I'm just going to do mango and pineapple. What I'm going to do is it's just frozen fruit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the kombucha from in here straight into here, blend it up, and then I've got my glass bottles. So these are 1 litre, I think. These are 1 litre glass bottles. These are pressurized, so these are very specific for using things like making kombucha because they won't explode or the glass won't break or anything like that. They are pressurized. So you can't just get any old bottle that has this type of lid. You need specific fermented ones for fermentation, making kombucha, which are pressurized. So first of all, you okay?
Great.
Just doing kombucha.
Yes, I know, you see.
So first of all, I'm going to blend these guys up. So first of all, I've actually taken the SCOBY out. So that's the original SCOBY that I got, and then my new one is at the top here as well. So each time you make kombucha, you're actually going to get more SCOBY. This is like the baby one from my first one, and then I've put it back in with the original SCOBY because that one wouldn't be quite strong enough. So it can kind of grow, and then as you get more, you can obviously give them away to people, or you can make multiple kombuchas at a time, things like that. So yeah, I've also taken some tea out, which is what I'm then going to use for making the next batch later on. I've put some in here and I'm now going to blend it all up. So there is the blended up fruit. And these are my bottles. I don't actually sterilize these, but because of the pH level of this, you're not going to get any mold growing. So I'm not too worried about sterilizing them. So what I'm going to then do is I'm just going to put some of the mixture of this into the bottom of here of each of my bottles, and then I'm going to fill them up using this little tap. Then I'm going to fill these up. And then what I do, once these are actually ready, I strain them through to get rid of any pulp or anything from the fruit, so you're not getting that in your drink. But I don't want to strain it through because I want to leave all of this to go into here so that the bacteria's got lots of sugar to kind of feed off of. Some people sometimes add extra sugar into this. I'm not going to because I'm leaving the whole fruit in there, so I'm not too worried. So I'm starting off with 3 bottles of these done, and then I'm just going to fill them up from here. Ooh. Make a mess as I do so. Goodness. my bottles are done. I haven't filled them up all the way. This one I ran out of kombucha on, but I've left enough space at the top so when I open them, when I'm going to use them, there's enough space for kind of the gas and everything to kind of come up, a little bit like when you open a bottle of Coca-Cola or canned Coca-Cola. Baby girl's just waking up. What I will be doing is burping these every couple of days. Some people say you should do this, some people say you don't have to. The reason I'll be doing this is because I now have to repaint my kitchen, as I left them in the second fermentation the first time I did it for a little bit too long on some bottles. When I went to open the bottle, it just kind of exploded everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. I should have filmed it, I wish I did. It was like something out of a cartoon, but literally my walls, ceilings, floor, cupboards, everything, any cupboard that was left slightly ajar, it's all in there, and it took me about an hour to clean it all up. My walls currently look like there's mold all over them. It's not, it's kombucha that went everywhere. So I'm gonna have to go grab her. But yeah, I'm gonna wipe these down, put them in the cupboard now in a dark space for a few days, burp them every couple of days, maybe once a day, burp them, where it's literally I just open it, let out some of the air or the gas, close it back up again. And I'll probably leave them in there for about 3 days. I'll try one, see how fizzy it is. If I feel like they need to go a little bit longer, then I'll leave them for a bit longer, up to about 5 days or so. The longer that you leave them kind of fermenting for the second phase, the stronger, the fizzier they're going to be. So I'm going to leave them in one of my cupboards just back here, and then always refrigerate them before you're going to try them, just because that's the best way to have it. And also refrigerating will help slow down kind of the process on the second fermentation process. So when you do go to open them, they won't be quite as fizzy and end up with explosions. But yes, I'm just going to wipe them down, put them away, and go get the baby going.